Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Sri Ramakrishna is explaining to Vijay Krishna Goswami the ecstatic love of God, the prema bhakti, and differentiating it from the Vaidhi bhakti. Vaidhi bhakti, according to scriptural injunctions, follow a path of purification. Slowly upgrade yourself to be in tune with the divine, tune with the nature, tune with all other beings, and slowly grow in intimacy and love with God. Then, by grace of God, in time, the real love of God, which makes you forget the world and body and seek Him heartily and reach Him, that love appears. Continuing Sri Ramakrishna is because here Vijay Krishna Goswami belongs to the pure love of God, bhakti, acme of bhakti yoga. But we see him here little influenced by the modern trend of Advaitic concepts, which is most pleasing to man, and is answering all other religions, removing all the objections they are able to take against it. One thing is a protective nature each person has got regarding his nation, his clan, his way of living. He wants to preserve his culture. So some other people who, if at all they comment, he wants to answer them. So Advaita can answer, Advaitic philosophy can answer any questions on the religious and spiritual matters that man can raise. So it pleases, it satisfies the intellectual reasoning of every man. So this transformation from the religious way of looking at the life and things, of realization of God, of transcendence and all that, with various paths, various aspects of God, they want to condense it to limiting it to the Advaitic way of looking at the things. Brahmo Samaj is active member of the Brahmo Samaj. At the same time, intellect completely is able to accept it. Heart is weeping inside as if it is deprived of all things. Now, with intellect he cannot walk long. Logic and reasoning do not reveal the truth. Heart does. And his is the path of heart. Suppose his was the Jnanapatha pertaining to the reasoning and logic, then he would have, Sri Ramakrishna would have pushed him along his own thoughts and ideas and ideals. Now, his actual nature with which he is born, nature with which he is living in the world, nature with which he is developing is of bhakti, love of God, love of beings. So Sri Ramakrishna wants to bring him back so that he'll be able to reach his ultimate goal in this very life. So he is again and again bring the clear picture of whoever comes to him. They have a path, 16 direct disciples, 16 ways they go. Each one has his own path. They don't mix up. And one common factor from which all these paths have been given to them, like Krishna giving the various chapters in Bhagavad Gita, except the Arjuna Vishad Yoga, the rest of the 17 chapters, he gives different aspects of sadhana, different aspects of God, and all this is it's as if from Krishna radiance or something is expanding in all directions. Here also we see Sri Ramakrishna is expanding through these 16 disciples in different directions. Each is a different path. Each is a different way of looking at the divine. So here Sri Ramakrishna is taking when each person coming according to their nature, according to the a new person coming, he first identifies him, what amsha he belongs to, what path he has to tread. There is another kind of bhakti that's over, but some acquire raga bhakti directly. Some acquire raga bhakti directly. It is innate in them. Here acquire means they manifest. It is innate in them. It's already there. They are born with that trend, born with that heart. Innate. They have it from their very childhood. Even at an early age, they weep for God. And instead of such bhakti is to be found in Prahlada. Vaidhi bhakti is like moving a fan to make a breeze. One needs a fan to make the breeze. Similarly, one practices japa, austerities, fasting in order to acquire love of God. But the fan is set aside when the southern breeze blows of itself. Such actions as japa, austerity drop away when one spontaneously feels the love and attachment for God, who indeed will perform the ceremonies enjoined in the scriptures when one is mad with love for God. Now you can see various people. Krishna teaching Arjuna, he is explaining each time and identifying Arjuna. Arjuna, you belong to this class, don't worry. Even ordinary people reach me through small or big austerities, but you are already born with these things innate in you. It is so easy and natural for you. Spontaneously you can attain me. Like that. Some acquire raga bhakti directly. It is innate in them. So very often, but rarely we see, at least in my lifetime, I've seen many people, small, younger level. Later on they may digress for some time and come back. But from childhood, they have a fascination and attraction for God. When I was in Hoshangabad, one of the foresters' child was there, newborn child. The moment it sees anywhere a picture of divine, his whole attention is to be. Anybody trying to divert his attention, he will not divert. Suppose there is a calendar of some devata, he'll go on looking. And he doesn't. And suppose he's weeping, shouting, he's restless, just to bring that picture, any picture of God, and he immediately becomes silent and starts gazing at it. Nobody can console that child, but a picture can console. What exactly happens? It's just 2-3 months child. What exactly is this internal setup? What is it expecting in its life? How it is happening? Why that child has come into this world? Very difficult to say. Then later on, you see the same child as it grows. He starts weeping for God. When I was in Chennai, I saw one Balak Sangha boy used to come. There was a Krishna image in front of my room. He used to come to meet me to take key or anything. Suddenly he sees the image and silently sit at its feet. Just maybe 3rd, 4th standard boy, 3rd, 4th grade study, means about 8-9 years. Just the moment he just to sit there. He forgets what for he has come. He wanted to take key, open the door, and then he'll be silently sitting and gazing at that image. Then you'll see tears flowing from his eyes. Small boy. I used to wonder. Then go and ask him and his family people, is there any dearth for him? Why does he weep? What does he want? Then while talking, because it's a children gathering, Balak Sangha, and when children come, we start telling some stories, especially connected with the saintly life of sacrifice, divine love and all. In that we see, whenever that certain moments come of pain, of ecstatic love of God, in which God is giving, like Vishwarupa Darshana in Bhagavad Gita, God is giving him vision. At that times we can see him sobbing and weeping. Then I had to go for my sannyasa. Then he came. He will not be able to meet me for a long time. I'll be going from there, I'll be going for tour and all that. He came and told, oh, you are going now. Who will talk to me about God? I said, Balak Sangha, there is people are in charge. Others will come. And then he said, everything tastes bitter without God's thought. Will they be telling some other stories? And I was wondering, a small boy of 8 to 9 years telling this world everything in the world. Sweets. I used to give him sweets. He's reluctant to take. If everything tastes bitter without God, that word, what could be, how that in their parents or family, of course they are devoted, they are the devotees of Mutt also, but not to the extent that this boy is feeling. Then there was one occasion, Saraswati Puja was there in one of the hostels of our ashrama. Then I wanted to take all these children and go there, Balak Sangha of children. And we decided we'll go on the evening, and he refused to come because it's an orphanage. He said, I cannot see the orphan boys. I will not be able to bear their sight. That kind of that feeling for others, feeling their difficulties, concern about others, love of God. These are the wealth which they have acquired lives after lives through deep spiritual practices. What we are doing now, it will yield such birth to us. One, if not in this life, if we cannot realize God also, we'll be born with these tendencies of the being one with the divine at all stages of life from birth. He is there in the world, is going to school, studying, and he stands first in the school, in this class, in his this one. He has never taken below 90s. And he doesn't even show his mark sheet to his parents or anybody. As soon as it comes, he hides it, takes it, he offers it at the feet of the Lord. Oh, this is yours. You have made me to right. I have nothing to gain or lose. He offers it, keeps behind the photo of the Thakur. So this, how does these things, without being taught, spontaneously happen, spontaneously come? This is the term, it is innate in them. It is innate in them. They are born with those traits. Each man is born with his traits, how he lived in the past lives, past many lives through, how has he spent his life. It depends upon what are we today, how we look at the world, we look at each other, look at the problems of the world, my own problems. Am I indifferent to all this and loving God? Have I accepted God? Is understanding of God is clear to me? The day clarity comes, I accept it. I have nothing to say about this world. Because God is ruling, God has become everything, God is ruling it. How can there be any kind of imperfection? He is doing wrong, he is doing right. Just it's a play going on. Let it go on. My business. I have come to this world not to comment or correct, but to change myself. I have to see him. I have to reach him. The whole attention. How can I reach him? How can I see him? I have not become yet clear of what God is. Then I don't aspire for it. The day a soul comes to know what exactly this God is, he becomes silent regarding everything and wholeheartedly. Not that he is escaping, running away or anything, but wholeheartedly is aspiring for God. This aspiration is generated by clear understanding of God. The clear understanding of God is reflected with my relationship with this world. How I look at it, what am I expecting in it. This clarifies how much of God I have accepted and known. And that this to happen, it is innate in them. They have it from their very birth, very childhood, early in life. They get this because of the past experiences. It's accumulated, it is innate. How we spent our last many lives is what I am today. I don't even feel, where am I making mistake? Am I aspiring for God or not? If I am not aspiring for God yet, then I am to clean myself. Instead of looking at the world and having opinions regarding the situations and people, just leave it as it is. I am not yet clear. I am not yet clear. I have to change myself first. That again in self-introspection. Each time I should look at the world, there was self-introspection. How did I see this? How is spiritual aspirant who aspires of God never looks at it. Even if he looks at it, he doesn't look at it in this direction. Why a saint is silent? Why a true spiritual aspirant is silent about the world? Why am I interfering? Why am I feeling raga dvesha, likes and dislikes, right and wrong? This understanding. For normal man who doesn't know about any spiritual things, doesn't know what is life, What is the purpose of human life? Nothing is known. He is very crude, like a ore from the earth, unrefined. Then it's all right. He will have the ragadvesha in the world. He goes in that direction. Doesn't matter. Once the understanding comes, there is a thing and there is a purpose of human life. After that, again loitering in this world, moving about in this world with ragadvesha is not a right thing. In spite of all efforts to curb it, we are driven by our past momentum. It's pushing forward and nothing can be done except holding on to God for a long time till I slowly change my attitude. Oh Lord, help me, accept me as I am, going on, holding on to the divine in one way or other. So here we get the inner transformation. Otherwise we never go with the inner transformation. So even at that early age they weep for God, and instead of such bhakti is found in Prahlada. Why Prahlada is here, you see, it is normal, not a birth of the normal being in a normal paradigm. The whole thing is demonical atmosphere. Father himself is a great demon, and to him is the son is born. There is no backing of any type, either from the external situations, some proper guru, proper this one, satsanga, atmosphere, family background, everything is opposite, and he is growing in that independently. How that independently growing in the exactly opposite type of atmosphere is his innate nature. What is there from inside is unfolding. He is born with those traits, like they weep for God, found in Prahlada. Vaidhi Bhakti is like moving with a fan to make a breeze. Hand fan we use to make a breeze. That is, I am putting efforts and not getting proper. I cannot fan my whole body with a hand fan. I can, if I fan my face, my legs will be sweating. If I start sweating, fanning at my feet, my head will be sweating. When breeze comes, the whole bodily existence is being cooled down. So Vaidhi Bhakti, I try to keep the mind in God. Somewhere else I am slipping. One way or the other, I am moving towards the world and trying to hold on to God with great efforts. And similarly, one practices japa, austerities, tapas, fasting. Very often they fast. The Ekadashi, I don't take food. Or little food to not to feel hurt or hurt my own system. And the rest of the things, continuously thinking of divine. By these things, it is like a fanning oneself in order to acquire love of God. But the fan is set aside when the southern breeze blows of itself. Southern breeze is the breeze that comes from the southwest regions. It comes over the ocean, and it comes in a season when the summer has just ended and it is the beginning of the rainy season. It will be cool, fine breeze whenever it breezes. Over the whole India, the whole the southern breeze goes at one time, blows itself. Such actions as japa and austerities drop away when spontaneously feels love and attachment to God. Japa, dhyana and all this end. The purpose of doing all that is over. Just like a child learns to walk. The baby which is lying on it wants to get up and stand. How much difficulty it starts sitting. Then from the crawling position, it is able to sit, it is able to go to the crawling position on the floor and go back. Now the sitting, it is putting the legs in the front. When he is walking on the floor, he is pushing his legs behind. From front to behind, he is able to turn. Now, sitting, he may not be able to get. He has to bend half to come into the walking state, to get up and stand. Here he learns the in between the two. Walking over the floor, crawling over the floor, and then sitting position. In between he stands up slowly. This is a transformation. From the lying position, he turns round to put his belly on this ground and lie down. And then slowly he learns to lift his head, goes to sitting position. From sitting position, he begins to crawl. The crawling and the sitting position in between, he learned to stand. Then each time he tries to stand, he falls down. Again and again he falls down. Then one day he learned to balance standing. Then wants to walk, again he falls. Wants to go, again it falls. And then finally he learns walking, then running. After he start running, now no, all these practices of trying to sit, crawl, stand and all this was preparation for this running. Now he doesn't need anything. Like that japa, all this were to cultivate love of God. Then all this worship also stops. Now only to be in the thought of God, to remain absorbed in God and to entertain God in his heart all the time. So this is the such actions as japa drop away when spontaneously feels the love of God and attachment for God. Love is where heart is given to God. My core of my existence is flowing into Him as love. I am flowing into Him as love. And attachment to God is that I am unable to live without Him. We'll see in the next class. Niranjanam nityamanantarupam bhaktanukampa drutavigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha.